Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Capricorn July 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant, and I have done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for some of you Capricorns over the course of the last month from different countries around the world, and you know who you are. And if you might be interested in seeing what's involved in a one-on-one session with me, then just check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, I've also done some healings for Capricorns, and the information about that is in the description box below as well. Readings I charge for, I have to. Healings are free and done over FaceTime and Skype from wherever you happen to be. Well, unless you want to turn up in my house here, which many people do each week anyway. Now, as the subscribers know, and it's always so good to see you, it really is. I love and I look forward to seeing you each month. We only need to take 5 cards here, don't we? Because they tell us so much. Now, this deck in particular does. It's a sort of a vampire deck. Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't be interested in vampire-type decks, but the fact is that this particular deck is... What have I done here? This particular deck has such romantic and creative imagery on it, and of course I'm an incurable romantic, that I just have a real connection with it, and it, so these vampires and lady vampires speak to me. What that says about me, if lady vampires are talking to me, I don't know. But in any event, we shall see what is in store for you in just a second. So let's get things underway, shall we? And see what there is. Now, what's this first card? It is the Daughter of Skulls. This is the Prince of Skulls. It's a very well shuffled deck, but they're obviously, that suit, or these courts in that suit, obviously have something to say. Although I suspect from different angles. And let's have a look here. There's the 7 of Grails. This is the 9 of Grails. And what might there be in here? What is it? Judgment. Well, why don't you come now? Well, look, come and sit down here next to me, and together let's just check out and luxuriate in the romantic, creative, and original imagery in these cards together while I do the reading for you. Now, there might be some emotional turmoil that you are going through here, thinking about things, but it blossoms into wonderful love and relationships, and there are great cards here for material and work satisfaction, enjoyment, and you come through actually with a great breakthrough. But let's unpack some of this, shall we, and see if I am right in my first assessment of the thing. Now, this is a vampire deck, of course. And this, let's have a look at this woman. Well, this snake-haired vixen has gathered the blood of her victims in her bowl of desire. Now, this potent fluid swirls hypnotically, revealing, well, fantastic and intoxicating visions, maybe hallucinations. It is a symbol of the intense, creative wellspring of your subconscious that entices and mesmerizes you with its images and messages. Now, this spring can be a source of inspiration for your creative expression, as well as a tantalizing peek into the realm of shadows. And this realm of shadows is highlighted even more by this doorway which goes into the underworld here, which is at the same time repelling but also attracting. Now, the water snakes here, because in Grails, of course, she is in the suit of water, they represent both a sensual luxury, but also confusion. The imagery is sort of deceptive. Is the lady vampire here alive with the sensuality of fulfilled desire, or is she sinking into the mire of false pleasure and illusion? Now, the astrology of this card suggests to me that you might be going through the process of turning over and over and over in your mind. When they said that, what did they mean by this? What are they going to do? What are they going to do now? Where are they now? What's happened here? What do they mean by that? Different things like that, but I'm telling you that your emotional self blooms into complete satisfaction, even though you do go through this stage. Now, why am I saying that? Well, it's because the astrology of the card is Venus in the third decan of Scorpio, the 13th of November to the 22nd of November. And there's also, with this number 7 that's here, I have a mystical association with the planet of Venus as well. Now, Venus is the planet of love and relationship and happiness. And Scorpio, well, it's very much about intensity, in-depth transformation, and exploration of the self and others. And with this double Venus here, Venus in the numerology and Venus in the astrology, Venus doesn't have any handbrake applied here. It just rushes in. However, the problem is that Venus is in detriment in Scorpio, and so its usual ability to expand its sensitivity and emotional self is restricted, and instead problems can come about with negative addictions and intensity, with annoyance, or with overactivity, maybe by eating too much. That behavior could be as a result of something that has affected you deeply and changed you in a way which throws up its own set of challenges. Now, these things that are going on, all there is, the key to this at this time, is to do some deep soul work, bringing balance into your inner and outer values. Become aware of your conditioning, which is in your subconscious, that maybe leads you to your present state of mind, and get in touch with your higher self and reevaluate your values and your beliefs. Discover your soul purpose. Release those unsupporting beliefs and patterns, and integrate your soul self within the material world. You have the ability to change conditions in your life by uniting with the higher vibrations of the light. This can also actually talk about here an overactive imagination, thinking the worst about something. These visions are illusions and fantasies that are probably, will not come into reality. Now, this experience can bring delusion, confusion, indecision, and procrastination, and a chance of falling into a deep sadness or false happiness, alienating you from spirit and your truth, stealing your self-worth and your inner power. This is something of a test to you to choose wisely here in the world of matter. Now, the lesson here is to remember what your soul contract is, what is your purpose in life. It focuses on tension between the higher self and the ego, struggling with the differences between spirit and matter. There is a sense of escapism here, or maybe an emotional overload. Choices may feel like they are overwhelming. Are you choosing from wisdom and love, or are delusionary ideas for guiding you? Align yourself with the light of the divine through meditation, prayer, walking in nature, maybe with journaling, and have appreciation for the small joys in life. Know yourself and love yourself from deep within. There is, however, great news coming ahead here, which I'll get to in just a moment. Maybe you're thinking, that something is failing, or that you have failed, or that you are going to fail. Well, look, the acceptance of your failures is in reality the acceptance of your Creator's perfection. One of all of our biggest mistakes is to ignore what happens within you. There is no shame in letting your Creator know that you are falling and that you need Him to pick you up. The fall of the ego becomes the rise of the soul. Your soul wants to meet you. It wants to breathe. It wants to speak. It wants to see with the clarity of the eyes of your heart. These eyes of the heart are the eyes bestowed directly upon you by your Creator to witness Him and His pleasure. And the friends of the divine are not in search of their own eyes. They are in search of His eyes. But things really do work out perfectly well for you, because here, let's have a look at this. This is the Nine of Grails. And look, and this is an instance where I might say to the lesbian and gay audience to just insert the appropriate gender where you see the people here together. Now, the male and female vampires are embracing in a beautiful union. They share their inner abundance of spiritualized love in complete symmetry, and they are encompassed by the light of this fantastic moon here. This 9 is also associated with the moon, so it's very deep. It's something which goes very deep within you. This love, emotions, love in an unconditional love in all of its forms, beauty in all relationships that's coming around here for you. Now, the astrology of the card is that of Jupiter in Pisces. Well, Jupiter is the great benefic of the zodiac. It is the bestower of good fortune, and it brings good luck and expansion. And what we see here is that the influence of Jupiter creates a motion of expansion to this energy, resulting in an overflowing emotional delight for you at this time, as well as complete sensuality. Now, Jupiter also stabilizes Pisces. Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, incidentally, making this energy really one of the most complete and generous manifestations of this suit of emotions and relationships, being grails, that you can get. And as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the best in the pack. Now, because the 9 of Grails has entered into your life as it has done, it's bringing to you good fortune, happiness, well-being, a security. There's a prosperity around here as well, and in particular, emotional and material success. They're all going to be yours. Now, on a deeper level, you are experiencing the inner wealth of true self-love, discovering your grail that is within you. The key to this energy is living and practicing the universal law of giving and receiving. And the gift of this card is boundless love and abundance here. Now, I think that you are completing a cycle of deep understanding, healing, and transformation here. When you drink from this grail that I can see here, you learn to receive and in turn to give love to your creations, to others, and to the world around you. And I think that you're on the threshold of a new stage of development, and this is foreshadowing what's coming in here, I think, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I think that this offers an opportunity for you to share your wealth, wisdom, and happiness with others. What you wish for will determine your new path. We've all heard the saying, be careful of what you wish for because you just might get it. So this is talking about responsible wishing here. So take time to quiet yourself and think deeply on what it is that you might be asking or wishing for, and understanding how it might impact you and those around you. You are being supported by the divine, you know, to create something new and beautiful, whether that be a personal wish or a wish that is for other people. The universe is lining up to grant it. In a sense, you now are the mother of your creations, giving birth to the sacred divine. This is a time to work with your creative, magical spirit, letting your dreams and soul purpose blossom, and enjoy love and sensuality. Let's have a look at the card that was above it, shall we? And deal with it quickly and see what it has to say. Hello, madam. Oh, when I have a look at this, she actually looks to me like the personification of all that is life-enriching, abundant, perfect and exquisite. And when I describe her, take it that I am describing you. And of course these genders in the court cards can be of either gender, of course. Now she is fertile, warm and beautiful. And it's she who bears the secret seed of the everlasting. She is inspired, sensual, and full of bliss, of just being alive. She is committed, dependable and secure, an expression of the natural earthy warmth that brings nourishment to all life. Now inwardly she represents a natural growth in perfect flow with the everlasting. And this white flame that's coming up from this altar, I think, that she has put up there, that white flame there, I think, well, unambiguously is referring to the spark of divine inspiration and the divine protection which is around you now. Now, this daughter that's here, in the position that she's in, above this Nine of Grails and opposite the Prince of Skulls, I think she's actually the messenger of good news to you. And she indicates the beginning of a new opportunity, a project, a venture, a job, or a solid relationship. Now she signals that things are starting to happen. Opportunities are opening up for earning money or getting financial support. And she symbolizes also, I'm getting the feeling of like an apprentice or a student learning new skills and ideas. She brings a very creative time that you can expand into, which are going to bring new insights, and you'll see new horizons opening up. I do get the feeling of pregnancy and birth around here. Now this can obviously relate to a child. I think you could have dealings with children or young people. And if you don't want to get pregnant, then you know what you need to do. But there's a birth of a project here, birth of a new idea, maybe even a reinvigoration, a reinvention of your identity. And in relationships, I think she brings a romantic partnership that has matured, an engagement or a proposal, and happy, committed relationships are going to deepen even further. I think she's saying to you also that it's a time to appreciate the environment, and she says it's time to just quiet yourself down from time to time. Be in nature and listen to the messages that nature brings. You know, the birds, the animals, the plants, the fish, they are all our brothers and sisters. And she is bringing you peace, healing, and balance. Now, the other court card from the same suit of earth, which is your element, of course, is this fellow. And let us see what he's doing here. Well, look, he's gazing out, really, isn't he, with concentration out into the distance, with a determined focus. He is mentally directing his path through the world. He's richly dressed, which shows his sensual tendencies and his acquisition of earthly riches. The wind flowing around him represents his, as a prince, his airy nature. And he's resting his hand on top of that skull. And I think the skull is a symbol of the element of earth that embodies the tangible, physical world and what your pragmatic approach to issues is going to be. Now, it seems to me that the people that are likely to be important to you at this time include Taurus and Aries. This is a time when you are going to be very energetic, very capable and steadfast worker. You'll be slow to anger, but look out if you have been pushed into doing something that maybe you wouldn't do in other circumstances. I see also here that you will have a mastery of structure. You will appreciate design, how things look, balance, color, all that sort of stuff. There might be a lot of interest in hair, fashion, makeup. Could also be landscaping here and working with material things. You will be unshakable, and you might actually be quite cautious, I think. And I also do see around here, actually, physical activity. This is a time when nothing is going to stop you. Nothing can break your determination to reach your goal. It is particularly in the most important and serious situations that you will prove again and again that you are unshakable and possess prudence and perseverance. This is a time when I think that you'll be taking responsibility for your life and being more focused. You will, as I say, have this interest in design and possibly building things, and you'll be putting a lot of effort into practical things at the moment. This is a time in your life, really, when you are very goal-oriented and want to sort out the material side of your life, things to do with health, work things, those things that are tangible to you. Well, this is the time to take action with respect to those things, because if you do, important experiences will result. Now, what activities do you enjoy? What activities would help you towards self-realization? Find a physical, creative activity in which you find joy and fulfillment, and say this to yourself. I am finding the work and doing the work and changing the work so that it becomes fulfilling and satisfying to me. Now, underneath this gentleman, there is whom? Vampire. Vampires. Yeah, vampires indeed. I used to love watching vampire movies when I was a little boy. I used to love scaring myself to death. I think all little boys like to do that. What do we have here? Well, he is the Lord of force and dominance, authoritative, self-assured, and poised. Now, judgment here is depicted by a vampire that has risen up from the grave. He is rejuvenated, confident, and commanding. These are things that you will be. Now, he has burst from the tomb of the earth, which for me symbolizes old ways, and reinvigorated himself and has become invincible. Now, he's not working towards hope, so he's not just hoping things happen, he makes things happen. Nor is he, and I'm looking at these roots here, nor is he going to become entangled in the past, but rather he is going to understand the perfection of every moment and be victorious in the present. Now, I must say that the other energy that I'm getting through here is very much that this energy is bringing you a higher level of awareness that, like him, resurrects into a new way of thinking. In a sense, there's a spiritual rebirth or a bit of a spiritual awakening. It represents a time when life becomes fresh again for you, and the burdens or limitations of the past start to drop away, opening up the beauty of universal love and freedom. Now, it's not listed here, but I happen to know that this is Major Arcana number 20, and number 20 is the number of awakening, of knowledge, of power, of mastery, of universal service, compassion, completion, and rebirth. Now, when this energy calls you, it is actually the voice of the divine speaking to you, so listen closely to the message. An aha moment is going to be gifted to you. Old ideas or outworn beliefs are now changing into a higher awareness, which is going to take you into a new direction. The path you once followed, that's dissolving away into distant memories. And this energy here reminds you that each of us takes our own different paths. Now, the paths wind and they intertwine through the landscape of life like a river flowing towards the sea of oneness. There are many lessons and detours as you navigate through life. Well, this is freeing your mind and heart of false beliefs. It's bringing you clarity and the realization of the oneness of all. Well, what a particularly interesting spread of cards for you. Great month. Well done, you. Didn't you find that fascinating? I certainly did. And what a wonderful month it looks like it's going to be for you. That's just fantastic. By the way, if you did like the video, do me the favor of pressing the like button. It's good for the YouTube computer system or something. It allows the channel to be seen by other people like that. It's the only favor that I ask from you. But what I will say is this, though, and that until I see you next time, remember one thing. Well, actually, before I say that, check out the description box for the readings and in particular for the healings. I think you might be interested in the stuff that's there, particularly on my website. Now, until I see you again, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.